more. Starring your host and co-host, Jenny Nicasio, Sean Kelly, Chris Moe, and Jason Sledgehammer Ryan Petro. Brought to you by UPRN Network. Now for your host, Jenny Nicasio.
Welcome to Chasing Prophecy on FM 105.3, the UPRN Network, New Orleans, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. Remember to like us on Facebook and YouTube and subscribe. We need subscribers. We need you. So I am Jenny Nicasio, along with my co-host, Sean Kelly, Jason Ryan Petro, and Trish Moe. Good evening and welcome. Torture Tuesday, right, Jason?
The infamous Torture Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
And by golly, nobody got to see all the electronic gremlins that
we're
almost
having
prevented this evening.
Seriously, electronic gremlins. And I don't know who brought them. And I like your flag. At first I was confused, Sean. I thought it was a green screen in the back.
No, it's a flag.
Oh, nice. You're a good boy. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
I like the hammer.
Getting ready for Thursday.
What are you going to do on Thursday, Sean? Please tell us.
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day, probably.
Are you going to hang out with your brother, Patrick?
No. I think I'm going to go down to the Harp and Fiddle and spend a little time with my cousins down there and then come home.
Did you have your leprechaun with you?
No.
You going to catch Lucky Charms?
No, I couldn't.
Did you go to the parade, the St. Patrick's Day parade?
You know what? No, I didn't. I was working. But here's the deal with that. I mean, that parade, sure, you get a lot of old timers down there, but it's mainly for the kids. It's not for grown-ups. The grown-ups are like in Market
at the bar.
Yeah, at Market Square, because I think they blocked that off.
Yeah.
There's one big drinking binge going on down there. But you know what? That I don't even consider that St. Patrick's celebration because it isn't really on St. Patrick's Day. It's like the week
Everybody
before.
is Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. So, it's crazy. I'll tell you a little something about that real quick. You get everybody gets dressed up in shamrocks and kiss me on Mars and all green and white. The majority of them are not Irish.
Yeah, that's why everybody's Irish on Patrick's Day.
Hey, I used to go out on St. Patrick's Day.
But,
I'm not Irish.
Hey, I went down the south side for St. Patrick's party once. It was crazy.
Yeah. But
back in my younger days.
When you go to an Irish bar, an Irish party, and you see a guy wearing brown or green, not green, brown, and different normal colors, they're usually Irish.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're usually Irish.
Yes, they are.
Well,
definitely.
Moving on here a little bit, we have a interesting show for you tonight. We have SASHA ALEX LESSIN, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Lessin, and his wife, Janet, are on the show tonight, and they're going to talk about, Trish, how do you say it? Anunnaki? Anunnaki.
Thank you,
okay.
Trish.
Thank you, because you know me with my pronunciations.
Yes, we do.
We're going to talk about that and some other stuff. They before I introduce them, I just have to take a moment to thank my good friends at. I'm losing my mind here, guys. Just give me a second. We don't want to mess this up. Okay, I'm going to talk about this new product. If you're having trouble with eating and drinking healthy during your busy day in 2022, I found the product for you. I want to tell you about an electrolyte powder I found. Hydronique Hydration Powder Packets. It's loaded with vitamins and minerals, but with no added sugar. Something that is keto-friendly and healthy. I love the fact that it has elderberry, which has an immune-boosting property for support during cold and flu season. I can bring it to the gym. Its little packets fit right in my gym bag, and you can take it traveling. So it's delicious and leaves me feeling refreshed after a workout instead of drained like I usually do. You can find Hydronique Hydration on Amazon and the link in my bio and website, hydroniquehydration.com. It's packed with minerals and vitamins. Check it out. I give it 5 stars. And we're going to go ahead and move on to our guest, our wonderful guest tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and bring them on. They're not only they're like hypnotherapists, they're authors, lecturers. They have their own radio show. So let me go ahead and bring them on the show. Welcome to Chasing Prophecy, Dr. Sasha and Janet.
Hi,
Hi,
Janet.
thanks
Hi,
for having
Doc.
me on.
Aloha.
Nice to be
Aloha,
here.
you're in Hawaii, right?
Yes, we are.
And how's
You
the
know, I
weather
just
there?
tripped. I just totally tripped out on what you were saying about St. Patrick's Day, Sean, because the Anunnaki are the people who were there way before St. Patrick came and has chased the snakes, which was just a symbol for the Anunnaki. But it's the same. St. Patrick's Day is a big deal for the Anunnaki because that's where they had their big conferences with each other.
Oh, really?
That's
That's
amazing.
interesting.
Yeah, a long time ago.
That's real interesting. Thank you,
Yeah,
Doc.
that is. Tell us exactly what they are for some people who don't know what they are. I know
Okay, I'll tell you who it is.
You don't have to lean into the camera because
I don't have to lean into the camera.
Okay.
The Anunnaki are the people who, after each disaster on Earth, gather together survivors and help them start again. And the way they help them start is with great big temples. And they gather survivors, and they've saved a lot of people too, because they can tell when this happens whenever Earth is passing through the Taurid meteorite stream, which happens in ways that the extraterrestrials know. But they make sure they save some people and try to reestablish civilization with the survivors, with the codes to where they come from, which is in the Sirius group, the Belt of Orion. There's a group of stars called the Pleiades, and these temples point back to there. And if you sight with through the temple, through these holes, it tells you where they came from, and they meditate on these places at the solstices, and they feel oneness with the earth, and it's a whole big deal. But these things are rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt on the ley lines of the earth, because that's where they get the energy. And when it all lines up, especially now when we're lined up with the galactic core, it's the time of high contact with the extraterrestrials.
Well, who are they to us?
And so they have hybridized with a whole bunch of different people. In the beginning, they came from the Lyran group, and they were running from the Dracos, and the groups that settled on Earth were warring with the Dracos, who were also settling on Earth. The Dracos came to Lemuria. The Lyrans, humanoids like us, settled in Atlantis, and there was huge wars on Earth, and finally there was a galactic meeting on Andromeda. It was called the Council of Hatona, where they asked, well, look, Earth is just an incredible place. All the species, instead of warring, make a proto-humans and put them all over, and each area can have a proto-human, see what you develop with the way you work things. And 12 human groups and one Draco group signed up. And so they gave us our genetics, and the basic genetics of our brain stem is what the Dracos choose. This is our fight or flight, because they thought, they're going to be real. It's a tough planet, and beside that, we think we're going to take over this savage, instinctual part of us. So that's the way we started. When the Anunnaki came 450,000 years ago from the planet Nibiru, they came for gold. They wanted gold to float up into their atmosphere and plug a hole in the atmosphere caused by a thermonuclear war and stuff like that. And that's what they came for, is gold. And they made hybrid slaves using some of the humans, these proto-humans I already described. Homo erectus was the one they used in Africa, but they used proto-humans, and they made our race. At 300,000 years ago, they made Adam and Eve, and her name was really Tiamat, and she scared the heck out of them because she was way smart genius, and she did an acid trip, and it blew their minds. And so their bosses were trying to keep down the humans, because the new Earthlings were just too bright and too assertive, but it didn't work because the head scientist, Enki, Lucifer is what he's called in the Bible, decided he would have a secret society. It was called the Order of the Snake. You want to say something? You keep...
Well, it's a lot of like a download, but basically the Anunnaki are behind the biblical stories, the Adam and Eve and Noah's flood. And if you reverse it back to the origins in Sumeria and the what are the other languages? Anyway, you go into the ancient languages and you uncover the original story, which became the basis of the Bible. And the Anunnaki are creators. They're the creator gods. They created humanity. And so you probably have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
That was a big download, but go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead,
Any
Sean.
questions?
Go ahead,
I
Sean.
don't know. That was pretty interesting. I'll be honest with you. I never heard about it until Jen sent some information over about it today, and I'm confused, to be honest with you. I need to know. I need to learn more. These giants. I hope you don't mind me saying giants because I can't pronounce that name. I'm from Pittsburgh. All right.
No, they are giants. They are big people. They're great
big people.
The giants? No.
Okay, big.
Yeah,
people,
they left their skeletons all over the
So-
place.
Great.
So
And I'm from
how
Pittsburgh.
what's that?
I'm from
So
Pittsburgh.
how does that
Oh, you're from Pittsburgh.
you're from Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Oh, really? What
Avalon.
part?
Oh,
hell, you know
Avalon.
part. Yeah, Dormont.
So come on, Pat.
Oh,
There's no
Dormont.
excuse now. You should be able to
Dormont.
pronounce it.
That's true. Yeah, good one. But no.
Okay.
How does the giants, start with the Bible or begin with the Bible? That's where I'm confused.
Oh, that's a very good question. The Bible was written based on when Nebuchadnezzar took the Israelite intelligentsia to Babylon and Turkey, and they just studied these old Akkadian texts. These texts written about 6,000 years ago, or actually, it was most of it. The best ones were written only about 4,000 years ago, about events that older and older works in this library full of texts that were clay tablets that you could actually read, and they were phonetic. It was a language, and it told these stories, and so these stories were based on still earlier stories, and we found, and the Bible. By the time these guys are writing the Bible, they're captives, and their particular leader is Yahweh. And they're trying to make it. There's lots of these guys, but they're technologically advanced. They're really smart, really powerful. And Yahweh is dictating to. They're trying to make it so he's the top god. But God just meant Anunnaki, these big guys that had technological power, and a lot of psychic abilities. And so that's what the Bible was there in the Old Testament. But then every single time it's revised, whoever's revising it, like later on Christians following Paul, want to put women down and make them unimportant. So the Bible starts taking an anti-feminist. And so anyway, whoever's working with these old things, you can just go through the layers. You can see how it's changed by who's in charge of the writing.
Right, but the giants are.
The giants are the ones that roam the earth. They're the Nephilim, the
Okay.
Anunnaki.
Yeah, the Nephilim. I thought the Nephilim were like they were demonic. No, they're not.
So that's the way these guys work. Is if they don't like you, you're demonic and you're evil and you're the devil. But the ones that are evil and the devil say about the guys that think they're the good guys, they're evil and they're the devil. It's just what they say. Yeah, they're heavy dudes. You don't want to mess with them. But what and so some of them went crazy, went berserk, killing people. Others integrated into the society. For example, Goliath is in the Philistines is working with the Philistines. He's one of them. So you have this Nephilim are the descendants of, and they were deliberately warned. You guys got to head for the hills if you don't want to go back to Nibiru, the home planet, because the flood's coming to the Eastern Mediterranean, and it's going to really be bad.
So the Nephilims are the hybrid, first generation hybrid.
Well, it's descendants of those first generations, and these are and the Nephilim didn't just mate with any old slaves. There was a second batch of slaves that Enki bred because he really liked getting it on with the girls, and these were super duper smart, and and beautiful too, and so that's the ones they kidnapped or they eloped with them. They were into it too at Marduk's wedding. Anyway, Janet.
Yeah, it's a lot of information they don't know. We got to go back up. So anyway, the Anunnaki were very tall in comparison to humans roaming the planet. So, but they were able to see the same species because they could copulate and breed, and that's because genetically they hybridized us with them. So we're all one species, but they're very tall, just like we have,
There you go,
basketball players.
They were from the Nephilims.
Some of them are-
Yeah. Now I have a question about that. You know, the people that stand like 7'9", 8 foot tall. Is it possible that these giants existed in the back? And could they have some type of DNA with them?
Yes, absolutely. You bet.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we have that genetically within us. So you have the potential, like my grandmother's was my grandmother's sister was only 19 inches tall, but she was a full adult. So this is the human potential. We can be 7, 8 feet tall. We can be, 3 feet tall. And so it's all within this genetic pool, the gene pool.
yeah, I have a
So
question.
it originated from the Anunnaki.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
So
Right, Dave.
I've seen several shows where archaeologists are finding remains of obviously prehistoric animals and stuff. And a while ago, I seen a show where they uncovered what they are claiming as giants, like full skeletons of giant humans. They're saying they're like 9 foot tall, 10 foot tall. Is it possible that those are the Anunnakis? From
Yes, it is. They're all
times?
over. They are all over. Every single continent has all of these. The Smithsonian had oodles of them, and they hid them. And where the best of all is on the Isle of Sardinia. Sardinians will show you, hey, here's a bunch of giants. They're all buried here. And if the authorities come, they make a person shut up and they burn everything. And the Catholics don't want you to know there's giants. But there's giants, and there's hundreds and hundreds of documented cases in the newspapers, and people try to hide them, but they're there. Not they're giants, but a lot of the Anunnaki, like Akhenaten, have extended craniums. There's that's within the genome of the Anunnaki too. The Anunnaki has come to mean the generic term for these people, Lyran descendants, who are creators and sometimes helpers of humanity, but mostly they pit us against each other so they stay in charge.
Okay.
They discovered, it was just maybe 2-3 years ago, a bunch of redheaded giants in Nevada, correct?
Yeah.
Right. They found them in Maui here, and they got in and they covered up the cave and took them away or buried them or something.
Yeah.
They put cement in the cave. Nobody can go in.
I know the Grand Canyon when I lived in New Mexico, the Grand Canyon in the late 1800s, early 1900s, a man an explorer discovered that it was actually a pyramid, right? And sent all of the artifacts to the Smithsonian, which you can't find that newspaper now, and the Smithsonian claims to have no record of it.
Right.
So we know that government and government institutions lie.
Oh yeah.
No.
They're covering up the
Really? What made everybody think that?
So if this is
It's
the Bible, okay, so just
shut up about it.
Okay, next person.
getting back to the
A great question.
All right, Jen, your turn.
I was just gonna say that it's just if you believe this is don't know what's going on out there or something else in the universe.
They're coming to get you, Jen.
Probably. Okay, so these
Nephilians.
Anunnaki.
Anunnakis.
I'm Italian. I like gnocchis. They're
Yeah, that's
delicious.
what I was going to say. I like to. Okay, so that's just changing the whole course of the Bible for Christians. So that there is no Jesus Christ. There's these aliens that came in, and they started they created mankind, and with their Nephilians and their giants, and they're having orgies with the slaves. It's totally blowing my mind here, guys. Trish, what do you think?
Well, wait, let's reply to that about because Jesus is rebelling against their system. That's the whole point. He's saying this is nonsense. These guys aren't gods, and they're ripping you off. And we're supposed to be loving each other, not making these people rich. And no. Jesus was a real thing. He was one of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
he
you
was the son
believe
of God, and God
Jesus
is
he's one of the extraterrestrials, or
Well, that was Yahweh, right?
What happens is in every era, people have inner archetypes that they identify with, and he's in a scene he's meditated with, and what he is teaching is totally different than what Paul and the Romans taught about. And so there's different Christianities, but the one that Jesus was about saying love everybody and care for people.
but the other ones weren't.
So
they were evil. They were bad.
They wanted to enslave.
Some are good. Some people. Some are terrible and hurt us and pit us against each other and create wars. Others are trying to enlighten us and say, get over it. And you realize you're all brothers and sisters from the get-go. And the only way you're going to survive on the planet is cooperating. That's the two different factions. And they're really different. Us ex-hippies call it the difference between Christ consciousness and Catholicism,
I can understand that, because I know that there's a lot of Renaissance pictures, like from way back, that there'd be it might even been before the Renaissance, where there'd be alien spacecrafts in a picture of Christ, or I've seen that. Have you guys seen that?
Nope.
Yes.
Lots, absolutely, and you can tell so much from the artist. One of the things, whenever they're showing Jesus or Mary, they paint a halo around them. You can see which ones they mean and everything. And so there's this incredible picture it's called The Wedding in Canaan, and there's Jesus and Mary. They're like, 35 or 40, everybody celebrating their wedding. They had 2 kids,
and they have the aura around them, their heads. So anyway,
yeah, it's a really nice painting. It's that same thing. These artists capture things.
Well, they would always say, like, Christ ascended into heaven. Now, heaven could be another planet, another dimension,
Beam me up,
another
Scotty.
universe.
Heaven
Yeah, universe. And
they could have got on a spaceship. They were beamed up. We have imagery of people who are alien abductees. They get beamed up. Have you ever seen those pictures? Of the people who have alien abductions? There's a lot of artist rendition on them. Well, they get.
Well, you did a lot of work with abductees, haven't
just
you?
like
I think the electronic
Yeah, we both
gremlins
have.
are in attack mode.
You have you.
Oh, you can't hear us?
I can't. Yeah, I think we got lots of connection. I was just asking you. You've done a lot of research with abductees.
Yes,
that correct?
we've worked with them. We've done hypnotherapy with them. We've done groups. We went to the large conferences, Contact in the Desert, and working with all these experiencers, private sessions. We regressed. Well, can't name all our clients, but a lot of clients. And then I'm an experiencer as well. So I'm writing a series of books with people that are experiencers, and they're coming forth with their stories. And we thought there were just a few of them, but there's literally millions of people that have had some kind of paranormal experience. Your whole show is called Paranormal. So I'm writing books on ghosts and interdimensionals and the cryptoids. And so I just published a book called Experiencers, Aliens, Ghosts, Aliens, Angels, and Ghosts. And I just sent it up today. So it'll be up live in 24 hours or so.
Well,
Yeah.
Trish has experience with that. Right, Trish?
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yeah. I have experience with a lot of different aliens. Yes. What you said your book it just came out today. Where can we find it?
Yeah, I just got the Kindle up. But we've written 10 books already. I'm trying to put out a book. Aliens, angels, aliens, and ghosts.
But you already published one where you talk about this.
I have another experiencers book, which is called Contactees. I did that about 5 years ago. We've got 5 books on the Anunnaki, and I have there's a lot of books. We've written 10 books. We like to write a lot of books.
Wow.
But what I want to ask you, what kind of experiences have you had? Which do you have different species that you've had contact with, or what's your contact like?
Yeah, I've had experience with numerous different species since from before I was born, actually, that I remember. And then of course I've had numerous near-death experiences in this lifetime that I believe a few of them they actually saved me, and healed me from. So, because I do know I died, from various heart attacks and such. And there were different ones. One I believe was the giants, or what we perceive as, or I guess a lot of people in these near-death experiences perceive as, I guess, what people would call an angel, like a light being, but more huge. Like I mean, this was giant, like 15, 20. I had 20-foot ceilings, so it was very large. But I also know that they've projected their image into my mind a lot, because as humans, the Merkaba, we can't. Sometimes they move so fast, and as light beings, or sometimes we just perceive them as light, so we don't actually see what they look like in some species. So a lot of times they've presented themselves that way. Other times, there's the grays. Obviously, everybody knows what that kind of looks like. There's the Pleiades, the very tall and white hair, blue eyes, things like that. The Nordic, all of the different, the praying mantis type. And then I've seen some that literally look like something out of a monster movie, like species. So it just depends on what people don't realize there's not just 2 or 3 different species of aliens. There's hundreds.
Right. So that's a common thing. You're getting telepathic communication. You're getting images sent directly to your voices call into your mind. So you're not seeing with your eyes. You're seeing with your third eye or your mental eye. Mm-hmm. And so, you're definitely, and you have memories before birth coming in. You have near-death. A lot of the experiencers have near-death experiences, and when they die, they see angels and they see extraterrestrials. It's like they're just right there, short vibratory frequency different from us, and people can see them in their mind's eye, not necessarily physical eyes. But then sometimes we have where you have groups that see at the same time. You have witnesses. And we all see the being, the creature. So, go ahead, Sash.
Well, I just
say something.
Have they conveyed to you what your mission in this life is? What your main missions are? What are they?
I mean, I've been used for breeding purposes for a long time. I do know that. Mm-hmm. I know. I've been used for many experimental. But there is a difference. A lot of mine have also been military related, and so after years of trauma and coming to terms with a lot of things. It's I was just talking to somebody about this last night, and people ask me all the time, they're like, well, you're okay. No, I've had bad and good experiences with extraterrestrials. It's not all bad, but it's not all good either. It has not been all good. But it's very arrogant and illogical for humans to think that we're the top of the food chain in the universe, And so to me, once you get over that concept, a farmer raises a cow to eventually send to slaughter to eat. It's not that he has anything against the cow. It's just a circle of life, And so I've kind of come to terms with that part.
Right. Janet, can you tell me about or tell us about the time that you were taken by the Greys to the alien military encampment underwater? You mentioned in your bio.
Right. Yeah. So that's one of the things. Yes. So you're talking about the MILABs, military abduction. So I think they orchestrate some things in your life. So I ended up working on Johnson Atoll, which is a military installation 800 miles southwest of Hawaii. It's now closed. When I was there, they came one night, and I had a boyfriend I went there with, and he got fired. So then you couldn't be on the island alone because it was like 75% men. It was just horrible unless you had a boyfriend. But once you paired up and had a boyfriend, then everybody left you alone. So when my boyfriend left, you get a boyfriend because I don't want you here alone because you might get raped or something, right? So when you had a lover, it was better for me to have a lover. And since I signed a contract, I had to stay there. So I had a lover. Anyway, one night they came and took me and my lover. We were very progressive, open-minded, right? And they took us. There was 6 military. Like I can't talk about me, but I saw them carrying him. So they carried me like a surfboard, and they took me down to the edge of the water. And as I was going down there, I was communicating with the typical Greys, and it was one Grey I was carrying my right foot, and I said I was screaming, and they said. And I said, why isn't anybody answering me? Why isn't anybody helping me? Everybody could hear me on the island. I could scream really loud. And everybody had to hear me. And they said, oh, go ahead and scream all you want. And nobody's going to help you. You're in an energy field, and nobody can hear anything. So then I just relaxed because, Trish, you know that. You know the routine. It's all in your subconscious, but then it kicks in you. Oh, yeah, I know this game. So just relax and enjoy it. So so they carried me to the edge of the water, and I saw my lover coming down, and he was kicking and screaming. And then they set us down, and then the ship comes out of the water, and we had both been abducted before. We had talked about it before it happened. And I was like, okay, here it is, and we're conscious. We're not asleep, and we both remembered it the next day. So we just came over, and they're coming up to get us, and we grabbed each other's hand. We walked into the craft, and then it launched itself out into the water. And if you look at Johnson Atoll, if anybody wants to pull that up, a picture, there's a dark circle, really dark. That's the underwater installation. I don't know if anybody's talking about this, but he and I shared this.
I haven't really heard that much about that one, so that's interesting. But I mean, it's relevant because I used to see the message about that name all the time. I mean, recently. So,
so Johnson Atoll.
And I didn't know what it meant.
Oh, okay. Well, that's where they have. It goes 13 floors down. I had a fellow who was working on HARP, and he contacted me. He goes, oh, yeah, it's real. Because sometimes when you have these, you go, am I crazy? Is that real? So I get these validations. Sometimes it's 10, 15. That was in 1995, 96, 97. So anyway, he contacted me. He said, oh, yeah, they have HARP. And he goes, down by the shark chute, which he knew where that was. That was a term he wouldn't know unless you had been on Johnson Atoll. There's an entryway. It goes 13 floors down. And they wouldn't let the average civilian go up there. But, so he described, oh, yeah, I probably drove past that. So once you're down there, they have a part that's artificial and part that's natural. So the upper level, it's all kind of retro furniture. It's like they took all the extra furniture from the military bases around the world. So you have this 60s furniture in there, 40s, 50s, 60s furniture in there. And they have the metal, the metal examination table, and they put my boyfriend on the table, and he's screaming holler until there are 3 different sizes of, I call them grays, but they're not gray, almost like a tall mantis gray mix, really tall, like 8, 9, 10 feet tall. And they go around him and they're examining him. He calms down. I'm sitting in a chair, and they come over and they instruct me mentally, right? Go over to that wall. So I go over there. There's a gown. It's like eyes wide shut. It's a beautiful emerald gown. It's all beaded and it's beautiful. Put it on. So I put it on, and and they direct me. We'll start walking this direction. So I start following where I'm being directed, and all these doors start opening, and these really tall Anunnaki come in behind me, and they get taller and taller until they don't want to freak me out. So they start with the ones that are kind of 6, 7, 8 feet tall. But as I'm progressing, then you get the 13, 14, 20 feet tall extraterrestrials. But when we're going down into a large cavern, which is the natural, so the artificial takes the natural, and there's this big Abyssinian wall there. And there's a light like shining in this perfect circle, like on a stage, and everybody's saying, and they're saying telepathically, is this today? Is she the one? Is she the key? Is this going to happen now? So they're excited. Everybody's excited, like there's something going to happen. And I'm just I'm leading this parade. I'm going, I don't know what's going on. So I get down there, and they get all of a sudden they get quiet, and they don't say anything. And I go, I'm supposed to stand in a beam of light. And it's in front of this big giant Abyssinian wall. It's very shiny. And I go and I stand in the beam, and then the wall dissolves. Like it kind of feels goes shh, like electronic. And then you can see this even larger cavern. There's these big giant feet. And what it is a giant dragon. We talked about the Draco, the Lemurian war. So the dragon, the Dracos are the ritual species, one of the ritual polarities of existence. So there's this giant dragon, and we're all starting to see her. So she projects an avatar of herself. So she's standing in front of me, just the same height as I am. And then we look at each other. It's kind of like a puja. A puja is we're the Vulcan mind meld. You look in each other's eyes, and you kind of connect all your thoughts and who you are, your memories. And so when we connected, it's like we access the quantum computer. So everybody's asking us all these questions, and we're answering. It was almost, I want to say simultaneously. I can't explain the phenomena because it was just so outside of anything humans have ever experienced. And I don't even know why I could do it. But I guess apparently I was a key. But there's other people who are keys as well. So I've heard of the stories about keys. So anyway, there was this whole download of information that the military wanted, and also assembled. There were all these brass from all over the world and world leaders. They were all in this huge cavern which held about thousands or so people, right? And beings. They're beings from all over the place. Anyway, so I had this download, and then I think I passed out because they carried me back to my bed. Now, has this happened to you, Trish? Why do they drop you from about 3 feet up into your bed? It's like they don't set you down nicely. They drop you, and you go, Have you had that experience? I've heard that from a lot of experiencers, where they don't really return you very politely. It's kind of like
it depends on which ones. I mean, yeah. When I was little, I used to end up 5 feet from my bed with a bloody nose,
right?
So yes, it wasn't necessarily like I wouldn't even be dropped in my bed. I'd be dropped on the floor. I'd be dropped on. I
was outside the front door. I was trying to get into my house at night. Yeah. It's like, what? I'm outside. Let me in. I had to knock on the door. My mother goes, "What the? How'd you get out there?" I don't know.
And it's interesting. Like I said, it depends on the one who's doing it, because sometimes if it's especially with military related, if they're not supposed to be doing it, if you have somebody else protecting you, then it's like a kid putting something back that they and running away, like they don't want to get caught. Right. To me, that's how it kind of And so in situations like that, which is interesting that you were just talking about, I kind of think of it as like a summit meeting between
right
multiple countries and leaders and races and everything else. It's kind of like everybody's coming together in one place. And
Galactic United Nations.
Yes.
The Russians. Well, none of it. She's not. The Russians were there too. Not just Americans. There were Russians there too.
Yeah, they kept saying that they were having mock drills on. This is to the military and the civilians that were living there. There are about 3,000 personnel on that island, and they said we're having mock drills, and they go, and they're bringing the airport. Yeah, so I still don't know the answer to that one. Yeah. So I had a year of that of my lab. So I was just right there. Yeah, I was on the island about a year and a couple months, and I finally, after that experience, I said I went off. So I found a way to get out of my contract and leave. I wanted to go back to the real world. Like, this is the real world. But yeah, it was just too much being in that. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. How did you two come together, your husband and you? How did you come together? You both have the same interests. Was it just something cosmic happened, or did you find each other through a group?
Yeah, we were at he was teaching Tantra, which is another specialty. So we were at a conference in the mainland at Harbor Hot Springs. I don't know if anybody's from California. Harbor Hot Springs burned down one of the earlier fires. Anyway, they had all these workshops going all the time. And so he was teaching Tantra, and I wanted to learn Tantra, and I contacted him, and I showed up, and we fell in love. And but we, souls know each other for, across the centuries and in different incarnations. And so you recognize each other when you find it. I mean, we knew each other. We were just drawn. And I was actually living in Honolulu in a different relationship, but it was very dysfunctional. And so when I met him, I told my boyfriend, it was like an interim relationship. I had been married, and so I was living there, and I said, I want to go to Maui. And so anyway, we set each other free, and then I came here. That was in 1997, and we've been together ever since. We've grown old together.
Alex, have you had an experience of being abducted like your wife? Or
no, no one's gonna abduct me, man.
Sean, weren't you abducted once, you said on a previous episode?
I guess. Well, according to our producer, it's a very good possibility because of my RH factor that I got. So 68% of the people who have my RH factor usually get abducted.
What are you, RH negative?
Whatever, the one that's the real high.
Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I got another friend that has that.
So I guess that was a question I was going to ask you, Janet. How do you know if you got abducted?
How do you know if you got abducted?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you have physical markings. Sometimes you remember things. I came back with a implant in my nostril, and I couldn't stop sneezing for 24 hours solid. I had an implant behind my right ear. My mother took me to the doctor. I had a scoop mark on my right tibia, which hurt for like 2.5 years every time you touched it. So you have, physical, sometimes you have physical markings and you go, what's going on? And I've had shared experiences with other people, like the young man at Johnson Atoll. We got together and we were talking about what had happened. And so, it's always nice to have a witness. But sometimes, I don't know if this happened to you, Trish, when I was a child, I was on board ship, and then later I would meet some of the kids that we were on board ship with. And it's like they do the love bites, and you end up falling in love with these kids. And then you start sharing stories, or you find pictures, and you go, oh my goodness, I know this kid. Here's this adult person who know this kid. And so then the memories come. It's like the rush of dolls. When you start getting the memories, they start coming back. You don't always have to go to a hypnotherapist. Once you start learning, you can do is you can start writing and journaling. I'm writing all these books lately. When I'm writing, it's like, oh my, all the details are coming back. And then sometimes I correlate them, like my house was haunted, and I'll ask my older brother and sister, and I say, tell me what happened. I write it up, and don't tell me, just write it to me. And when I get it, it matches the story. So you can get a lot of proof or evidence, and then one person's proof is another person's science fiction. There's really no way to absolutely prove any of this stuff, because even if you have a dozen people get abducted, they're going to come back and they're going to deny the reality because it doesn't fit what you're supposed to have happen in life.
Well, it isn't just that. It's that our military has all kinds of aircraft, and they abduct people, and they do horrible things. And
you think it's the military that's doing the abductions too?
I think some of it is absolutely, definitely military stuff, and some of it
they do a lot of the bad ones.
That they do that right on. This is the military. These are people that are paid professional killers. What the hell do you expect?
They're insensitive, a lot of them. Usually, what happens is you'll have, and they can track the abductee. They know the experiencers. They know, and so a lot of times the experiencer will have an experience, and then within 24 to 48 hours, here comes the military, because I don't know what I think they try to get your memories, or they examine you to see what happened. So they know, they're tracking.
Why would they want to do this? What's their motive? Abducting people.
That's a good question. I mean, they had a hybridization program. Maybe they're trying to replace humanity or preserve humanity in case we blow ourselves up. They want to know more about alien technology. A lot of the people that have had experiences are able to fly craft. Sometimes when they're on board the craft, they become their alter. They say, there's a couple of them, like, when I'm on board a craft, I'm a mantis, I'm a gray, so our souls are not limited to one form, one avatar at a time. So you might have your human self here, and when you go on a craft, you're an Andromedan, or you're, some species we don't even know the name. We're just putting these human names to these species, but they may not call themselves the names that humanity is assigned. Like Gray's probably, hey, I'm a Gray. They ever probably have a name for themselves, like we have an American, right? So it's more complicated than anybody can imagine. That's why I'm really delving into it. And interview. If you ever want to just talk to me, Trish, I'd love to have a private conversation with you.
Oh yeah, I love meeting other people
yeah.
I think they use in answer kind of to your question, Jenny, they use a lot of people for their psychic abilities. They use them to channel. They use them for remote view. They use them, to get information, or even to contact, because they know that person has a direct contact to specific species, for example. So I don't know. Can you tell when like I started being able to tell when it was a human, or like trying to communicate with me telepathically, because they would ask me to write it down or speak it out loud. I'm like, oh, nope, that's not extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Because an extraterrestrial would have been able to read my mind. So that's one of the first times that I started realizing the difference.
Oh, cool. You broke it. Yes, that's wonderful.
Over here, honey. You're off the screen. You're not on the screen.
Fight nice.
You know what? There's a question from Jean in the comments, and she would like to know, so all the bruises I've gotten are mysteriously. Is it possible that she got abducted?
It's possible, but we don't want to lead the witness. So best thing is to go get to a hypnotherapist and just have them regress you in general and see where you go, and have them go, what's the most important thing, what's most salient, what's relevant, and you might go to your childhood abuse issue. But if you keep doing these sessions, you'll eventually get through the layers and uncover more and more. Some people go to it right away. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
So when something calls to your attention, like bruises, that's a great sign to go into it and to imagine that you can get some kind of communication with whatever that is. Maybe a little you goes inside and proceeds to the place where the bruising is and touches it, and the bruising, you can use it, whatever it is, instead of trying to shove it out of your mind or wonder. Just, and if you think maybe it's this, well, try this, make it up. And we all have within us everything there is, and we're every, and all we have to do is focus, and it'll open up. So that's a wonderful clue. If that's all you get is whatever you get, gee, I don't know if this is true or not. Imagine it's true. Notice and make up a story about what happens next.
But if you have a journal or you have your phone and you record it, like record your impressions when you wake up. Ask your subconscious and your higher self, tell me what's going on. And a lot of times you can get your own story from your. Now, like somebody asked earlier, how do you prove it? I don't know. You just go with it and see what happens. And that's how people have contact with their relatives that die. If you're open that you're going to have contact, then you'll have contact. But if you're afraid and freaked out, you're not going to have contact. Same with the aliens. The more receptive you are to contact, the more you're going to get contact. And when you learn to go past it, well, those bullies that are bothering you that are the MyLabs, they're just unconscious people. But if you can even talk to them, there's a human in there. You might be able to reach them and say, hey, you're leaving me bruised? And that's kind of rude. Can't we just talk? So that's what I learned to do. I learned to just talk with them. I'm 68, so I had memories like Trish coming in. And so over the years, I've learned to stop and just, it's like having a lucid dream. You're running from the monster, turn around and talk to the monster. Hey, so now I do that a lot with the ETs. And so, when I was in my 30s, they were taking me a lot because I was fertile, right? And they were using the breeding program. But, I would just fight with them at night. And I'd wake up and, you could tell you were screaming all night. I was crying. My eyes were puffy. I go, what's going on? There's something going on here. So I just said, I'm going to find out. So the best way to find out is yourself. And go in and say, okay, now I'm not going to overreact, because they want you to calm down. And the more you calm down, now I go to these different meetings, like that one in Johnson Atoll. By that time, it's like, oh, okay, you're going to a meeting. We're going to have you see every species imaginable, and we're going to bring in all the top brass from around the world. And I wasn't reactionary. I wasn't freaking out. It's like I had passed the test. It's okay, you're going to come in and be like an ambassador, because I had high psychic ability, very telepathic. That's why I was called a key. There's a lot of people that can unlock interdimensional portals. And I grew up on a portal. So it might have been we asked, what was your mission? Why did you're not just a breeder. You have a soul mission. You have a purpose. Of course.
I do. I think I'm a mediator between worlds.
Yeah.
Because, and I say that because I've done that. It's like they've been showing me that in the 3D also my entire life. I went to a really pretty dangerous school in southwestern New Mexico when I was younger, and I was chosen for that position. And then it occurred to me after all these years of working with spirits and stuff, and how everybody's afraid of demons and all this stuff. And I'm the one that goes in and doesn't get injured by them, when there's like a haunted place or whatever, for the most part. Mm-hmm. I mean, and is able to de-escalate situations. And then I'm like, well, maybe that's what because I don't choose sides. I try to look at things from all angles. And I think that's what I do with the extraterrestrials as well.
Right.
Wow. Far out. That's wonderful. Great. Thank you so much.
That's interesting.
Jason, you're quiet. What do you have to say?
Oh, I'm just like absorbing everything, but I was wondering, I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there that, are trying to establish contact with extraterrestrials and, UFOs. Do you feel there's any particular method for the folks that are looking into something like that might help them more so to make that contact?
You go ahead.
Well, LSD helps.
Oh, wow.
You still use the LSD?
Oh, God.
I guess LSD helps with a lot of different things nowadays.
mushrooms.
Oh my.
No, I think
Or
that, you know,
mushrooms.
you're setting an intention. So if you gather in a group and you're all meditating on having contact, and you're calm and cool and relaxed, and you're inviting it in, and or you can do it individually. Go out and you know, practice not getting freaked out and running away. I used to have sleep outs when I was a kid back in the '60s, and I was always seeing stuff. So I say, okay, do you want to sleep out? Let's go see what we can see tonight. And we would see all kinds of stuff. And we may have had experiences. I haven't progressed myself to find out more.
Since your husband brought this up, LSD. No, were you guys on LSD when you were abducted?
Good call. Good question.
Tell the truth.
I was not in a drug culture when I grew up. I mean, I couldn't do alcohol. I couldn't do, what do you call it, marijuana. I mean, I grew up in the '60s and everybody around doing it. I'm so sensitive that I couldn't do those things. So I didn't need anything. I'm in the higher vibratory frequency.
That's how I am. People are like, "Are you on drugs?" I'm like, "No."
No, this is it. This is how I come.
I think, though, that's why a lot of people, you know, when they start trying to make contact with even spirits or ETs or whatever, that's one of the things, because not only is the experience kind of scary. I mean, I was terrified. I was afraid of the dark until I was like 37, for that matter. So not only is the experience scary when you're not used to that, but it's the vibrational change that most people aren't used to. So
right.
Even if they were the first time, they're not used to it, and an ET approaches them, they're going to pass out anyways, because it's too much. It's like going, you know, from high altitude to low altitude. It's too big of a change right away. So most people, you know, like you said, you don't do the drugs or anything, and I don't either, because things like that, especially now that I work with more spirits and stuff, lowers my vibration and makes me vulnerable to lower vibration entities. So I try to keep it high, and, you know, I don't drink or do drugs and things like that. So only for that purpose.
Yeah,
I don't want
there is a
something
vibratory shift. I had a client that stayed here, and she said, "Okay, I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to pull them down. There's a ship right over and I could feel it. And everybody else is asleep, and it's like, yeah, okay, there's a ship." She goes, "Well, I'm going to bring him into the bedroom." And I said, "Okay." And I thought I was prepared. And as soon as she started doing it, I go, my legs grew wings. I mean, I just was out of that room so fast, because there's part of me wasn't ready to have them being right into the bedroom when we were sitting there doing this, calling them in. But I knew she was doing it, because it's like I could feel it. But then the other thing is the different communication. Have you ever communicated with a reptilian? Their telepathic abilities are so intense, it feels like you're dying. So I had to get used to that, because they would contact me all through my childhood. I've had contact all my life. So this one reptilian was trying to contact me, and I would just get terrified, like I was going to have a heart attack. And it felt like he was trying to, and that's what the soul sucker is in Harry Potter. That's what they were, that was meaning. It feels like they're sucking their soul out of your brain, out of your head. And so I ran from him. And finally, I started communicating with him as an adult, and he apologized. Sometimes he'll come and apologize. "I'm so sorry that I scared the crap out of you when you were a kid." And it was never my intention.
There's some that just don't have any empathy, I guess, at all. So...
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I've never had any of the ones that they hurt me or wronged me anyway apologize, but
yeah, I've had them apologize to me. Especially, I was in a conference in Arizona, the IUFO Congress, and I get up to go to the bathroom, and there's a gray hovering right. Now he was hovering right. It was right above SASHA, and I stopped and I went, "Oh my God." Anyway, I just sat down, and he was just telling me, he said, "I'm really sorry that I scared you."
Sympathetic alien.
Bye.
Well, when we come, we're going to take we're going to take a station break. And I want to ask you, when we come back, I want to ask you about what you think is going to happen, or what do you think's happening now in the universe with all the chaos. We'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Just 1 second.
Bye, Sean.
Sean, you stay here.
He's gets up, walks away.
He's there in
I had
spirit
some.
right now.
A true crime podcast hosted by Chrissy and Amber. They have over 150 episodes ranging from the infamous crimes like those at Jack the Ripper. They dig into the wild and weird with details and facts. What I like about this show is their humor and energy while telling a great crime story. There's so many to choose from. If you enjoyed our paranormal investigation shows with crime, history, you're going to love old-timey criming. True crime is better in black and white, with over 150 episodes from full length to bonus mini episodes, plenty to binge on. You can find a link on our social media platforms and a sample on our website. Old Timey Criming, where they know the good old days weren't always good. Okay. And Sean's not here. Okay.
He'll be
So
back.
let me ask you, with all the chaos that's happening with Ukraine and Russia and these Anunnaki,
Anunnaki.
Anunnakis, and they're peace-loving creatures, and they're still in existence, right? I mean, are they watching what's going on?
No. Some of them are peace loving, and some of them are hate loving.
Okay,
it's not that simple at all. There's
So
factions.
you got the good and the evil. Are they still in existence, or is this something from the past?
They're still in existence, and this is the beginning of a new era. All that's upset that we're going through is part of what's going to force us into a singularity, to realize that everybody and everything on this planet is interrelated, and we have to coordinate our behavior in order to have an opportunity to survive. And the terrible things that are happening are going to force us to do it before we die. Otherwise, we just go through the cycle again, which has happened so many times in the millions of years I've been studying, where everything gets wiped out except some people survive, and the guys come down and try again. But in any case, this is the best of times. This is the worst of times. This is the only time you got. When you're going to be yourself, do it now. That's great. You have an opportunity. The challenges of having all this crap is that there must be a pony under it somewhere.
Under the shit, yeah.
You know?
Right. So, yeah, this is a test, and where are you going? Who are you in relationship to other people? How do you treat people? Do you kill or be killed? Do we figure this out? Are we going to up level? It's Groundhog Day. We keep doing this over and over and over again. And, we've blown up the planet before. Sodom and Gomorrah was a nuclear explosion. So was it in India? Was that the
Harappa and Mohenjo-daro?
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. And so, here we are again. And we're kind of stupid as a species, but we've been dummied down. So part of it, they shut off our brain. So we're only using, 1 or 2 or 3%. And the Anunnaki are a whole brain species. They have the greatest intelligence of their whole brain, and we have this minute part. We're doing pretty good. But the reason that it was like Planet of the Apes.
Well, I don't
They
know
didn't
about
say they are. They're super. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Go ahead. That's a good question. I'm studying, looking at all this stuff, and I'm going, holy, shit, what's going to happen here? I'm in Honolulu. They could come from Honolulu. I don't know what cities you're by, but when I was a kid in Pittsburgh, that was the number one target when Khrushchev was pounding on the table. It's like, but now they can go anywhere. So somebody gets a bug up their ass, we might not see the next day. So
No,
Do
there was
you
that
think
launch.
do you think they would actually use nuclear? You think they would use
There
nuclear weapons? I mean,
we've
when these
already had
Anunnaki people come and try to stop it?
we've had credible evidence that there was a nuclear weapon fired from a submarine off North Korea, and there was a warning
few years ago.
a few years ago. Warning sent to the president's aides.
Yeah, I thought that
and
was just a mistake.
Was it the president said? They said, okay, look, we got it by. We have a anti-missile thing that shot it down. Mr. President, do you want us to hit North Korea because now we have a pretext? And people were telling the president, it might have been our CIA, and so he said, I need more information.
Where'd you get this report? Anyway,
from SALA.
Oh, from SALA, Dr. SALA. So what I got, I tracked that down the next. First of all of our phones went off, and it said incoming missile. You have 15 minutes. Now imagine every phone on the island in Hawaii went off at the same time.
15 minutes.
Yeah, I remember that happening, but they said it was a mistake.
No, they had a ship the next day, a whale watch, and it got up on the internet for just like 24 hours, and they took it down. And there was the dawn. They had these whale watches in the early morning, right? And so they saw the coming down, and another one came and took it out. Now I live across from Haleakala, and that's Science City, and that's where they have the HARP installation. And if you remember, Reagan talked about Star Wars. Well, they built this Star Wars thing, which is to shoot down incoming missiles. So it's all over the planet, and America. Maybe. I mean, I'm not on the in anymore. I used to have a lot more insiders, and a lot of the insiders know everything. But that is a possibility, because I saw that video before he took it down, and it was raw, and it was just, and then I was experiencing. I called my sister. I said, I think I have like 14 minutes to live. I want to say goodbye. I mean, it's very surreal. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. So we could have had a million of those. They have these reports all the time about how the UFOs, they cover military installations and they shut off nukes. They redirect them. Yeah. So we have a long history. You can Google that. And I'm researching all this for my book of all the different incidents where we did have intervention. So will the good Anunnaki, intervene? So I'm looking at it in 1954, February, which that's my birthday, February 54. Eisenhower had a series of meetings with extraterrestrials. The first group coming in were the Anunnaki. They called them the tall whites, and they came in. They said it was like 1951's the day the Earth stood still. If you let go of nukes, we'll give you all the technology, and you'll be in the Aquarian Golden Age, the Star Trekian area. But I said no. And then here comes the Greys, and then they make a deal with them. But I think they're part of the same team. Because when I was Johnson Atoll, the delivery system was the Greys, which are kind of insensitive. But we went down to the group meeting of all the species. So that's my information. But I can't prove a damn thing. But I can just tell you my hypothesis.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. If I was as tall as an Anunnaki, I would definitely make a killer business out of changing light bulbs. Definitely.
Washing windows, definitely.
If I was that tall, I would definitely use it to my advantage.
How the hell would you get in the house, man?
Probably have a bad back after a while.
Down in an avatar, it'd be the same size. You could have had an Anunnaki at your lunch table, right? You don't know, because they walk among us.
I was going to ask you that. If you're able to distinguish, and it's usually only for a while, right after I've been taken or whatever, I can go out in public and just look at people and see past their avatar kind of to what race. I can just point out which race they are. It's crazy, but it doesn't last. I mean, that I can only do that for. I can tell if I'm within somebody's energy or like touch them or whatever, but I'm talking about just like in a crowd. Have you noticed that as well ever?
Oh yeah, I had this guy come and sit in my living room, and it was like like when he walked in the door, it was like a fog. But as soon as he left, I was like, oh my God, did you feel that? It's like, that wasn't a human being, because for me, it like makes my third eye chakra buzz. But then they can come in and it's like mass hypnosis, and you're not going to do anything. I'm just sitting there, very obedient. I sat right beside him. And then when he left, it was like, as soon as he left, it like snap. Oh my God, did anybody else see that? So I'm like that too. And I think that's because we're always having contact. I mean, I have ongoing contact. I'm old. I'm 68 years old. They're not using me for breeding anymore. But now I'm like an ambassador, and I go to the meetings, and I'm helping with this project of saving humanity from itself, on some level. Now, when I'm in my human avatar, I'm using part of my brain. But when you're outside and you're doing your work in the universe, your whole brain. So you have a greater understanding of everything. What's that?
It's sometimes a hard adjustment to live in both worlds almost, and
I have a hard time living in this world.
Right?
You can't talk to people. They're going to lock you up or give you a shame and what are you, nut type of look. So there's very few people. I really appreciate you, Trish, because it's like, oh my God, I can talk to somebody about this. But most of the time you just keep yourself, I'm not going to say anything because you're just going to make fun of me.
Right. More and more though, I'm realizing, because I got to where I just don't give a flip anymore.
Right.
People think or whatever. So when I'm talking to people about these things in public, I've learned more and more. There's always someone nearby or someone, around there, like they'll pull me aside and they'll be like, hey, can I talk to you about this? I've never told anyone this in my life. And here will come all the stories. And so more and more people are telling, getting those, and that's why it's important. And I tell people that all the time. Like, I understand if you grew up in I used to be extremely religious before I separated from the church part of, the dogma part of it. And, so I get it. Like, I get being, or if you have, a family or friends that are, set in their ways, and especially in I live in Kansas, so everyone here is set in their ways because, people don't leave Kansas. Like,
right. Kansas goes with them wherever they are.
It's the prairie, you know what I mean? So it's hard to adjust that, but that's why it is important to hear other people's stories and get those out, because then more and more people are coming forward, and that actually heals a lot of the trauma too. When people can discuss those stories.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
So, do you have any final thoughts, or do you want to share with us before we say?
I would just. It might be useful to be able to embrace both the paranormal and the normal, to be able to center yourself with and have both of them at your command, so that you can go into your fair witness and look at your situation and see how much of one do you want to keep to yourself and how much do you want to reveal, so that you're always reestablish yourself as the chooser. And the way you do that is you embrace the opposites within you. That's
good words.
Thank you.
Wise words to live by. Well, thank you so much for coming on Chasing Prophecy. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank
for joining
you very
Culture
much.
Tuesday.
right.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it.
I had
of
never
information.
heard of the Johnston. I wasn't.
I never heard of that. Mm-mm. I
Me
mean,
neither.
New Mexico, they have the underground, but not the. I don't know. I haven't heard of
In
that
Hawaii,
one. Not in Hawaii, but I did hear about. I mean, I remember when the missile alerts went off. I remember that they were scared, but then they said it was nothing. So it's like, okay.
Oh my God! When was that? That was back.
It was a test. They said that. Oh, it was a test, and somehow it went viral. Everybody start looking at their phone. We're all gonna die.
I mean, think about it, man.
It's
They
not
launched-
funny. It's not
it-
funny. It
I
is.
understand that, but they launched the nukes. That's just like an alien coming down and snatching you up, and you're not coming back, right? Think about it, right? They sent out some nukes. What are you going to do?
We're gonna
Nothing.
die, Sean.
We're just
We're
going
gonna
to
die.
destroy each other and
John,
start
it's
over.
over. It's over. And you don't want to live. You don't
So
want to
what?
live if there's
So
The
why-
amount of radiation
why-
there
Yeah.
would be.
So why be afraid of it and just accept that it's going to happen if it happens?
it will happen.
All right.
Can't
then.
worry
So
about the stuff you
accept it
can't
and don't
control.
get-
I'm not worried about it. You want to nuke me? Go ahead.
Damn.
But could you put, if you're in the situation though, when you're on, all of a sudden everybody's phones go off because you're in Hawaii and North Korea decides to launch a nuclear bomb.
I think the worst part is,
that's scary.
if you
I
were
go
to
back
end
to
up,
bed.
if you were
Yeah.
destined to perish by a nuke, I feel like you would be better off being directly in the blast rather than
Yes.
on the outskirts where the fallout's going to happen and then
Actually-
destroys your skin and just makes you suffer.
I just saw something about that. Speaking of which, because if you're directly, it said it was on one of those, what if or fact or fiction things or whatever. If you were directly at the launch site of a nuke, you wouldn't be harmed.
No, it's
That's
no,
after it
it's
blows
the
up.
people
But it's
that
after it
missiles
blows
coming
up.
for.
So say like NOAD or who is in charge of seeing where they go, they contact say like Pennsylvania. So it's not so much where the blast is going to hit, it's the way the wind is blowing that could affect,
The radiation.
so they kind of figure out, the aftermath of the explosion. So I mean, it could hit in Philadelphia and go out to the ocean, or it could hit in Philly with the wind. It can come back into Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? So,
Just hold that thought. Jason,
Yes.
thank our sponsor.
Thank you, Carnation, for sponsoring the second hour of our show. If you're looking for some good breakfast, look into Carnation Breakfast Essentials. Enjoy it in your coffee and have a great day with it. Thank you, Carnation.
Thank you, Carnation.
thank you, Carnation. Thank you, Jason, for such a wonderful
You
job
did
on
such a
doing that
good job.
commercial.
You did it really good.
Oh, look at
Very
him
good.
blush. Look at him blush.
You guys are so weird.
So, does anybody have anything going on for St. Patrick's Day this year?
Green beer.
Green beer?
No.
When is that? 17th?
Yeah, this Thursday coming up.
See, it's so terrible. I mean, maybe that's why they call it Thirsty Thursday. Who knows? But, Thursday, can you imagine how many people are going to be calling off on Friday? Like, I'm not coming to work.
A lot. Tons.
A lot of people
Oh, yeah.
celebrate it still.
Tons.
Especially now the bars are all open and people can go have fun. And
Just sit in your, lay in your bed and turn the police radio on and just enjoy, all
turn
the
the police radio on.
Yeah.
And listen to all the chaos.
Yes, I'm serious. You know what I mean? But see, like Jason was saying earlier, that being at St. Patrick's Day, you're allowed to drink and get drunk and make an
Okay,
ass
so
out of
you're
yourself.
allowed to drink to get
Just don't
drunk on
drive
St.
because there's
Patrick's
going to be
Day.
checkpoints everywhere.
Yep.
So why can you get drunk on St. Patrick's Day? What's that? I mean, what's that any different than any other day? I mean, why are you permitted to drink on St. Patrick's Day?
I mean, it's just an Irish holiday.
An
And
Irish thing, I guess,
and you know
yeah.
what? When it comes to my show tonight, into the night at
Are you
11
gonna talk
o'clock,
about
I'm going to be
leprechauns?
talking. Hey, leprechauns are fairies. Did you know that?
No, I did not. Thank you
Yes,
for
they
that.
are. Yeah, they're. So yeah, you have
They
to
make
come
some
and
great
listen to my
cereal, I'll tell you
show.
that.
You got to come
I
and
will.
listen to my
So I
show.
would like to know what a leprechaun is.
What did they say it was?
I mean, aren't they magically delicious or something?
It's only in cereal, son. Here.
Did you
in
find our
this-
pot of gold?
The 7 facts of St. Patrick. It's
There you
in
go.
my show at
Ran
11.
the snakes out of the country.
Leprechauns are likely based on Celtic fairies. The original name were, now how I'm going to spell this, Lobaircin, meaning small bodies fellows. So
They're
that's
little
what
bodies. I
Yeah,
thought they were like little men. They were like short midgets, like little dwarfs.
I think I stand about 3 foot. What do you think, Trish?
I mean, yes, they're part of the Fae.
But how tall are they?
We don't call them midgets. I don't think they
I'm
like
sorry.
that.
Did I insult you?
They're just teacup people. There's like teacup dogs and miniature dogs. You can just call them teacup people.
Yeah.
I don't. Leprechauns can they can play tricks on you. So if you insult them,
Did you ever see the movie Leprechaun?
Oh, geez,
Yes,
you don't have to
I
be
did.
worried about going to bed tonight.
I'm serious. Yeah, I don't. That's why I don't
Damn.
insult.
Oh hell,
leprechauns.
all the Leprechaun movies are good. Even my son enjoyed it. He was like 4 years old, and he just loved the Leprechaun movie.
I've never seen them, but
they're
I do
scary.
know from working in with the fairy realm. Yes, there's you don't
got to
those are
watch
the ones
out for those
you
little-
don't want to insult those
Oh,
ones.
great! Now I have to. What do I need? Some sage to get rid of them.
No, Sage ain't going to do that crap. Just throw him a bottle of whiskey and give him some gold.
And this is
That's what he's
interesting.
gonna do.
Where am I going to get a bottle with?
Well, if the leprechauns always have gold, and the Anunnakis are always looking for gold,
Well, I don't know about those Anunnakis because
right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. When it comes to when people are like, oh my god, not only does she believe in UFOs and ETs, but she also believes in
leprechauns.
Okay.
You need
Well,
help,
to me,
Trish.
in my belief, all of these mythical creatures are extraterrestrial. Like I said, there's hundreds of different species. Just think of leprechauns as one of those species, and it makes sense.
Okay. But no, you got a point there, Trish, on that.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But when you say extraterrestrial, that doesn't mean they're aliens. They're something
No,
different.
well, there's extraterrestrials that live in the middle of the earth, according to history and scientists and in other civilizations. So,
but see, here's what comes when I have a problem with scientists. Okay?
we call aliens someone from another country, for that matter.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
so here's my problem with scientists. How do they know this? How do they know this stuff?
They make it up.
I'm being honest.
Science.
I'm being serious about this. How the hell they know that
Our
this
whole
person?
lives are
They
a
don't know
lie.
it, John. They're bullshitters. That's what we are. But we're all bullshitters.
I mean, it's just like,
Right, Ava?
You start talking about one thing, get a bunch of people interested, and next thing you know, it's true, whatever it is.
because it's science.
but what science? My son's a scientist, and I don't understand the thing he talks when he talks about what he does. It's like way out there.
What does
is
he
he,
do exactly?
biologist?
Microbiologist.
Oh God, he does like fish and stuff.
I thought doesn't he work at a dog food plant?
No.
Microbes,
Micro.
like little tiny bugs, like viruses.
He works with a lot of what's that? That disease you get from pigs, not salmonella, but the other thing.
Swine.
E. coli.
E. coli. Yeah, he works with a lot of E.
Oh,
coli,
geez.
and yeah.
I wouldn't want to work with that.
But but when me and him, when he starts talking about what he does, I'm just like totally lost. And I say, you know what? I love you, son, but you know what? Why don't you put it in the way that I can understand what you're
The
saying?
layperson understands.
Yeah.
I don't like that. If you don't understand it,
Right. So this scientist, and I'm basing it off my son, these guys are saying, okay, there's people that live in the middle of the earth. All right. And so they start talking in these big words, these long sentences. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what they're talking about. And so, you want to shut them up, and you say, okay, I agree, and move on. That's the way I look at it.
I look at it like that too. I mean, there's some of these scientists are so overpaid, like Fauci.
Well, whatever happened to him?
There's like rumors, like conspiracies that he's in the witness protection for something.
I don't know. It's just a bunch
Yeah, I
of
don't know.
horse
I don't
crap,
get into the
man.
politics or any of that jazz.
No.
Well, that's not
no
politics. That's not
Politics or whatever. I don't watch any of that TV crap.
That's just current affairs.
So I was looking up leprechaun, and my
Oh, yeah.
mythical creatures Bible, And reputed to be very wealthy, leprechauns have buried crocks of gold and treasure. Though a leprechaun cannot escape if someone keeps an eye fixed on him, if the person looks away for even a second, the leprechaun will vanish laughing. A typical tale tells of a man who forces a leprechaun to reveal the bush under which a pot of gold is buried. The man marks the bush with a red garter and goes off to fetch a spade to dig up the treasure. When he returns, he finds that every bush in the field is decorated with an identical red garter. Tricky little suckers. But on the next
some smooth jams.
I know who that is. That's
Who is
either
it?
Joe or is that you, Jenny?
No, I was just putting music to her story.
Oh man,
it's like bedtime story. But on the next page, what goes with my ET one is that piskies, like little, not pics. They're sometimes called pixies.
You mean pixies are little fairies, aren't they?
They're actually pisky from the British counties. It says they've also been known to borrow human children. So if you think about when these stories were written, borrowing human children, these children would go missing for 2-3 days, go off into the woods and disappear for 3 days, and their parents would find them either asleep in their bed or exactly where they left them, which makes me think they were being abducted, and they called it by fairies or like pixies. Right. So it makes sense to me that's where some of these fairy tales and stuff come from.
The grim fairy tales, man, those are sick.
They're all demonic.
Yeah. You love that name, don't you? You love that word, demonic. Honest to God. Here's the deal right now, Jennifer. Okay.
Oh,
here's the deal right now.
Oh shit!
Uncharted territory.
Every time you say demonic, you're giving us $1 each. All right. You're giving us.
I'll be retiring in 2 weeks.
Is that true? My Mr. Predictor said it is.
Oh, God.
Now is not the right time to tell you.
So, what does everybody have on off topics?
Well, my off topic is Ava doesn't have the gene.
Good.
For DM, which is something I don't know how to pronounce it. DM is let me see. I want to pronounce this. I have to learn. I have to take lessons. How do you say it? It's called DM. What is it? Do you guys know what it is?
Do you have any more letters or just DM?
Just DM.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
And dogs.
Let's get the Scrabble board out and figure this out.
Yeah.
It's called Mayo. Oh my God.
Now, see, this is when you need a scientist to figure out.
Oh my God. It's a genetic disease like Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh, really? That's not good.
What is Lou Gehrig? Is it AL? Wait.
ALS.
ALS.
Yeah, I really like this.
Degenerate myelopathy.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't have the gene for it. I was so happy. It's a horrible disease that large dogs get. Mm-hmm. And Ava's sister has it. My brother's dog has it. And they can't run. They lose the muscular sheath or something like that in their hind legs that they don't. It's like being paralyzed. Mm-hmm. And when they run, they drag their legs. It's horrible. But I was so excited. I got the news on my birthday that she didn't have the gene. So
awesome.
Ava will live to be an old lady like her mother. Hopefully.
How about you,
my
Trish?
off topic.
Ostara is this weekend. It's March 20th. That's the spring equinox.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
for pagans, and
what are you going to do?
It's also celebrated in different forms by even in Hindu, and goes back to like Jewish, all kinds of many different religions celebrate that because but in pagan beliefs, the goddess Esche, which is where Easter came from originally, technically, I guess. But it's this celebrating spring returning and the light part of the year, the light returning. So
Oh,
That's exciting.
guys, Trish, did you hear about this? Did you get that message I sent about the end of daylight savings time?
Yeah. Oh, they approved it in the
Oh,
Senate.
Oh, so we're gonna do away with it?
Yeah, starting 2023. I don't know why they're
Good.
waiting to 2023 though.
So
Is
we
that
can
cool?
fall back
No.
and get that 1 extra hour.
No,
of
but
sleep
that's
one
what I
last
don't
time.
understand, Jason. Is it we don't does it stay like it is now? Or does
don't
it go
know.
back to an hour before? I'm a
Don't
little
know, buddy.
confused. I'm a little
Yeah,
confused.
I don't know what their plan is, but isn't the United States the only country that does that?
Yeah, probably.
Arizona
With daylight
doesn't do it.
savings?
No,
Yeah,
Arizona
Arizona
don't. I
doesn't
didn't
do
know
it.
that. I didn't know that. Didn't they originally do that for the farmers?
Farmers,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is 2022, so technology and everything and farming is not like it used to be. I'm sure. You know, we
So
have
why'd they
bigger,
ever-
they have bigger
so
machines and
Oh,
all
it
kinds
kind
of
of
crazy
is. I
stuff,
mean,
so.
even when I was in high school and middle school in Kansas, anyways, during harvest season, they would just let like half the school would be gone because they would be out, working on the farms and stuff, and all day and night. And
Yeah, there's some pretty big country boys out there.
Is there, Sean?
Oh my God! You know
Have you
what?
been out there?
Jason, you're so
Yes.
naughty.
No, he isn't. I'm used to this shit. This ain't nothing. This ain't
Sean
nothing.
likes some big country boys.
Oh, you just don't know.
You better watch out, Jenny. He'll be coming after your boys next.
Oh no, that's bad, dude. That's that.
Yeah, draw a line somewhere.
You know what?
Jason.
Seriously, dude.
Oh,
you
come
need
on,
to-
Pap, lighten up.
No, I'm thinking of Jenny House. He wants to rip your throat out.
Oh,
But my off topic today, eye floaters.
Oh, I hate
Oh,
them.
oh, those
They
little black
drive
things you
me
see that
nuts.
look all
They
Does
drive
anybody
me
know anything
crazy.
about them?
You need to take
Yeah.
some vitamins for your eyes. Octivite.
Vitamins for my eyes, and then the
Yeah,
floaters
omega
will go away.
3. Hopefully. Omega 3. Yeah.
I mean, they drive me nuts.
yeah,
if you
can
talk to
help.
your eye doctor about them,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
You're
isn't
gonna
there
have to
like a
go to the
laser surgery or something that can fix those? I
I don't
believe.
know.
Did you see that commercial for the eye drops that makes you see close up?
No.
But then it says
That sounds dangerous.
this is what cracks me up. It says, "Oh, you need your cheaters, just close up. But this medication, just take these drops and you can see close up." And then towards the end, it says, "May cause blindness."
Oh my God.
Or you can see
why
real
would
close
you
for
take
5
it if
minutes
it
and you're
may
gonna
cause
go blind for the rest of your
Like,
life.
why would you?
Oh my God.
I don't understand.
That'd be just like, I forget what movie it was. It was an old movie where a lady was blind for her whole life, and this doctor said, "I can get you 5 minutes of sight."
Oh, okay.
Right? So it was ready. She's unwrapping her bandages. She's all set. Right? What happens? The power goes out, and it's total darkness, man. You know what I mean?
Why?
So it was an old movie. I don't know.
And getting back to you, ding dongs. I know, Jason, did you do
Did
your?
anybody ever have ding dongs? They are delicious.
Did
snack.
you have it off topic? I can't remember. I'm having a brain freeze.
I guess I kind of have one, from experiences. Like, how many, whether you guys or listeners have had like paranormal activity act up when you're renovating your house?
Yeah, good one.
You know,
Did it get active yet?
I could speak from personal experience that every time renovations may be going on, the spirits let us know they're here. Maybe they're not happy, maybe they are happy, but just some odd, strange things may be going on. So, has anybody else experienced anything like that?
No, but they would. I know that ghosts don't like when you come and remodel. They don't like that. They do not like that.
But
Well, how many
sometimes they
times-
do.
How many times you remodeled your house, Jason?
It's been in sections,
Right.
like the top floor, the kind of thing, first floor, and just over the last 10 years that we've been here, my wife's done a lot of work to the place, and every time we start doing stuff, it'll be fine for a few days, maybe a week, and then some odd stuff might start happening. Like we've had a couple things recently, so it's pretty cool.
I would think that that the good ones, the higher vibration entities, would like it and appreciate it, because you're creating a flow of energy that was all otherwise. It's kind of like when the feng shui thing, it changes the energy and the flow of the place. So I would think the good ones would be attracted to that.
Not experience.
The bad ones just want misery and don't want you to change anything. So
Ain't that the truth? But I haven't. I mean, all the investigations that I've done where people have remodeled their homes, they're not happy about it. There are no happy spirits about it.
Well, it's different if it's on like if it's the land itself. If it's on like a burial ground or something like that, that's different, I guess.
So it's like, but Jason, he's close to like burial grounds.
There's all kinds of craziness over here. It's awesome. I love it.
Oh, come on, Jen. What the hell are you doing?
She's just having a good old time over there. It's like when you plug a USB keyboard in and find all the special effects in like your recording software. You just find yourself playing with it for like hours. You don't know what's going to happen.
Oh my Lord!
Jeez.
Have you been on any ghost investigation, boys?
Nope.
None.
You just went to the Buxton Inn, Sean, again for the second time.
March 26th. Yeah, I was at the Buxton for the
again.
Second time. Yeah,
there's 3 of those.
Yeah.
How many times? I mean, wait, you went the one time, then you went back?
Had to.
January, February, and March.
Yeah, March 26th is the last one.
Which is next weekend.
Yeah. I did a private residence.
Oh, what happened at the private residence?
Nothing really.
Nothing?
No.
Why did they tell you to go out there?
Yeah, what happened?
They were experiencing paranormal activity,
but when you went out there, nothing happened.
We got some stuff going on. We're still looking at, some stuff and some personal experiences mainly, but it wasn't as bad as what the clients thought it was. So it was decent. It was a good one. But we're still going to the one in New York, right?
Hinsdale.
Yeah.
September
16th. That's one.
Yeah. It's booked for the whole year solid already.
Yeah. We were lucky because there was only 2 openings left.
Yeah, right.
And we got the one.
I should come there for that.
You should.
How about
probably be cheaper to fly than it would be to drive.
Damn straight. But see, Jason got a point. It's real hard to go and investigate places because look at the price of gas. It's like just going up and up and up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really. Who wants to go anywhere?
I put a half a tank of gas in my car, to keep it at the full mark. It was like $30. I was like, shit.
That's it.
Yeah, that's just a half a tank, dude.
Don't get me started.
Fill mine, it's like almost going to be like $60-$70.
I might have to head to Indiana, Illinois state line here in a couple days for some work, and I was mapping it out and the mileage, and I know what like my truck gets and everything, pulling my trailer, and I'm probably gonna be looking at about $600.
Oh my god!
And gas.
That's insane.
I was like, oh my god.
Well, they said it's gonna go up to $10 a gallon.
How long are you going to be gone? I mean, is it $600 worth? I mean, how? Just to get
absolutely.
There? Just
absolutely.
To get there?
It's absolutely worth it.
Okay, there you go.
It's work, man, and it's a good paying job. So
gotta go.
That's
gotta
all.
Go where the money's at.
How about Texas? Did you get anything back from Texas?
I didn't hear anything yet on that. Oh my god, I figured out. I was crunching the same numbers. And this was right before gas went up again, just yesterday or whatever. And I think I was going to be looking at probably like $1,600 in fuel to get there and back. It's like, oh my God, that's so expensive.
Absolutely.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, like my mom keeps saying, we need it. We got to use it. So we're going to pay for it.
Oh, that's like diesel, in the roll-off truck that I drive, for my day job. it's up to $5.59 a gallon. So it's like $400 some to fill that truck up every day. Just that one truck. And you got a whole fleet of trucks. They're filling up once or twice a day. Oh my goodness. There's just a few months ago, it was only 3 something. It's crazy how
that fast. That quick.
The inflation price of fuel.
The full moon is on Friday.
Yeah, that's why everything is all screwed up on.
Yeah.
Well, it's the worm moon it's called that by the southern native tribes.
We should probably pay more attention to when the full moons are, because every time there is one, we do have a whole bunch of electronic gremlins.
We do.
Yeah.
The show, it's really weird, right?
And we have crazy guests too.
We got to, but no one. But you're right.
We have crazy hosts. What are you talking about?
I know.
We're not. Crazy.
It does affect me during the full moon.
No, it does to me too.
I just. Okay.
I mean, I'm dealing with customers at work that are just so damn miserable and angry all the time during the full moon, and it's like
a lot of crazy things are going to happen.
Well, the prices of food going up too, Sean.
Oh my
making
God,
everybody miserable.
Well, yeah. So you notice everybody's
losing weight all of a sudden.
And then St. Patrick's Day, so you're going to have all the crazy. I work that night, so all the crazy drunk people. And
how do you deal with them, Trish?
Shut them off.
Crazy people?
When you're at work at night. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm only doing it for St. Patrick's Day. I don't always do that. I mean, I'm Irish, but
that's fun to work on St. Patrick's Day. You probably have fun.
Yeah, because if you blend in with the crowd, get the party pumping, you get all kinds of tips, right?
Yeah.
I hope so.
So next week we have Marty back on the show. That should be interesting.
Marty's
coming back on the show. It'll be,
Sean's like Marty who? I can't remember his name.
Edelton.
Marty,
you know who he is. He's been on it twice already.
Oh, okay. She wore glasses and he's out in California.
No. Marty is coming on the show. He's going to talk about, I'll tell you in a second. It's going to be a good show, I think. There's a lot of information. Okay, let's see. He is coming back next week, and we're going to talk about. Wait a minute, I just lost him. It's hard to work on the computer when you're supposed to be working the screen. Wait a minute. Marty, future ideas. Okay, he's coming. He's going to talk about little people.
Oh, so this week we had big people.
Yeah, we're going to talk about little people, fairies, elves, dwarves, and leprechauns. He could have been on today. Oh, wait, that's going to be good. When is St. Patrick's Day? Thursday?
Thursday.
Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, he's going to talk about leprechauns and all kind of good little people. And then we're pretty booked up until the middle of May. But I do want to do the next time that we don't have a guest. We're going to take the time and we're going to interview each other. And we're going to start with Trish. And we're going to learn all about Trish and all her little strange things that happen to her.
I'll have my questions ready.
And then we'll interview Sean and Jason, and you can interview me. And then I think that's a cool show. We'll just talk.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. That's the next time. We don't have a guest, and we're pretty, like I said, we don't have one for the 26th. Well, no, I think I do have some guy coming on the show. He's going to come on the show. He's in France. I think it's France. So it's going to be kind of strange because he's going to be up in the middle of the night doing the show. Okay. So it'll be like 2 a.m. for him.
How about that astrologer dude? Is he coming back?
Which one?
Oh, the one we recently just had on.
Last week?
Dr. Terry.
Yeah, Dr. Terry. Yeah.
We don't have him scheduled, but we can always bring him back. Okay, so we have pretty booked up until May.
Till May. Okay.
May.
Nice. Next week on my show, Patty Negri. She's known as the Good Witch of Hollywood.
Oh, really?
Going to be on, and I'm excited. She she has her she even has her magic university and stuff. She's very knowledgeable and a fellow witch. So
And she's a good witch or a bad witch?
She's also she performs. She's a medium, also psychic medium. She does a lot of public seances and so much stuff. She appeared for a long time on a lot of on Travel Channel, on Ghost Adventures and all of those. But her mediumship is and her her interest in the craft obviously is well. But I'm excited about that.
That sounds like fun.
I saw where she's in Ukraine right now, I think. So that's interesting. I don't know if she's still going to be there next week, but it'll be exciting to talk to her.
And would she go there for a reason, to help people, or just to?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was pre-scheduled or.
I wouldn't really want to be there right now, to tell you the truth.
I know she was going to, which I would love to go. I don't know if she has any more available spaces, but she's going to Transylvania.
Oh, I want to go there.
There you go.
That's exciting.
What are you gonna do? Stay at Dracula's castle for the night? That would be awesome.
It would be especially as a medium, that would be crazy amazing. I have had different channelings about that area my entire life. We've even had people readers and stuff come on here. They're like, oh, Trish, like there's like some Turkish person spirit that follow maybe one of your guides or something. And so a lot of your European I guess, I don't know, maybe spirits that are around me or something in my life.
Well, we're going to get off the show. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for joining Torture Tuesday.
Yes. Definitely follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again.
See you next week.
Next week. I wish we had my producer here to do this for me, because I can never find it. Jeez.
And have a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
We want to hear all about the recovery stories from Friday on next Tuesday.
Definitely want to hear some leprechaun stories.